Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another bonus episode of Let's Talk, but no politics, okay? Here on the Helium Radio Network, I'm your host, Andrew Lenz, coming to you every Friday on the Helium Radio Network at 7 p.m. Eastern. Just doing some bonus episodes for my, other than what I normally do for Let's Talk, but no politics, okay? And before I get into today's topic, once again, going back to our sponsor, the Podcast Precinct. If you are in the Western New York area and you are looking to start a podcast, you don't want to spend big money on the equipment because it can get expensive. You don't want to upgrade computers. You don't want to do all that stuff. Well, the Podcast Precinct has you covered. For only $20 a month per person, you can record a podcast. You can record it. You have a network to put it up on, and you have a great creative environment to do it in. So please, if you're looking to start a podcast, go on Facebook, go to the Podcast Precinct, and send them a message. Say, I want to start a podcast and I'm not quite sure how. They will give you a lovely interview process, go over everything they need with it, and then that way you can get started as well in one of their two recording sections. If you want a nice secluded, actual soundproof, 100% soundproof, professionally done recording studio, you can do that. Or if you want a little bit more of a laid back, sit on a couch in an open area, there's also microphones and recording equipment also in an area like that as well. So two very convenient, very nice, relaxing spots. I've recorded episodes there. I know if I'm, I have family in Western New York, so if I'm there and I need to get a podcast done, I hit up the Podcast Precinct because I know that they are professional. Things are going to get done, and it is going to come out wonderful. So remember, the Podcast Precinct, that's consistency, creativity, and culture. All right. So today, doing Tyrion again, going the wrestling route. Kind of getting back into it, not so much this WWE stuff, some AEW, some Impact. Yeah, check it out. I think once you're a wrestling fan, you kind of always are a wrestling fan, especially I think a lot of people in my generation. We lived through what was known as the golden era, and then as we're older, we got to live through the attitude era. So I've already pretty much did the golden era of definitely WWE or WWF at the time, and I want to do, and I'm going to say it, WWF, WWE, whatever, Attitude Era. Now, I came back into watching wrestling when it came to the Attitude Era right after probably WrestleMania 14. Stopped watching it probably right around after WrestleMania 18. Do a lot of spurts when it comes to wrestling. But I think I got a pretty good grasp on all these characters as well. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can already see what tiers there is. There's 5, and it's the best. These are your iconic ones that you remember. You know, still something today. Then there's like the not main event, and it's like, okay, they were good. They were good, but were they always in the main event? And did they kind of still stand up today, I guess, in a way as well? Uh, the all right, like, all right, you had your moment of the sun just stop, and then just bearable, kind of like, okay, you're below all right, and then there's just get in the bin, just get out of here, not needed. I don't think we're gonna put too many people into there, but let's go. So the first one we got here is Shane O'Maco, or Shane McMahon himself. Came in, corporate ministry. How do I feel about Shane from the time that I watched it? I think he was all right. He wasn't anything spectacular in my mind. He's just all right. I could almost just put him into just bearable, but that's how it was there. The Dudley Boys. Now, if this was an ECW list, oh, the Dudley Boys. That's where I grew to know the Dudley Boys and everything else, but I think they got to be in the best. They're definitely the best when it comes to the Attitude Era. They had that comeback run and just got buried. I don't know why, but it was stupid. Bret Hart in the Attitude Era. Not quite sure when the Attitude Era starts. Some say it was his heel turn, and I was not watching it at this point. Some say it was the Montreal Screwjob, and he's already gone. If I was doing New Generation, from what I know from the New Generation, that was after the Golden Era, I think he would be in the best. And I know he's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. But I don't remember him generally, and I don't think of him as a big time Attitude Era guy. So I'm not going to try and disrespect him, and I'm going to put him in a just bearable. That's my opinion on that one. The Rock. We all know what The Rock has become. We all know what he is. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. There's only one spot for him. The best. The best. And then we got Goldust. Now, Goldust through the Attitude Era was really weird. There was talks. He was trying to talk creative into letting him get breast implants, and he got weird. It's almost like he was cooler in the New Generation type, and in later on. At this point, Goldust was cool, but I think I got to put him in just bearable because it was just, I don't know. There was too much wacky over the top stuff. Now that I look back on it, I'm trying to balance everything like I normally do. Kid, adult. At this point, I'm a teenager, so teenager, adult type stuff. And looking back on it, he's just kind of just bearable. And even as a kid, he was just bearable. Stephanie McMahon at this point, get in the bin. Just get out of here. Really no need. That was just some ploy. The Big Boss Man, Golden Era guy, returns. He's all SWAT teamed up. Corporation, security guy. Had a good little feud with the Big Show. Al Snow. The Undertaker hung him in the Hell in the Cell. He had that little tag team with Bull Buchanan. He's all right. That's it. Ken Shamrock. I think this is one where he was just Ken Shamrock. He wasn't anything else but Ken Shamrock. And I got to put him in not a main event. He was a cool guy that came out. I know he wasn't like the promo cutting machine as we know in the Attitude Era. But Ken Shamrock was fun to watch. I can't deny Ken Shamrock. I don't think a lot of people agree with me. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment. If you're listening to this on Helium, send me how you feel about Ken Shamrock. I want to hear how people feel about Ken Shamrock. This is during the Attitude Era. Mankind, Mick Foley, the best. That's where it goes. So now we got Albert. TNA, he was Prince Albert, then he was Albert, Harry Back. Get in the bin. Not that wonderful. Kane, in my opinion, is one of the best. I love Kane. Kane actually kind of got me seeing Kane. That's how I kind of started watching after WrestleMania 14. His friend showed me Kane, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And that's how I got back into wrestling. I know Jack Telepka, who I do movie reviews with and also does work for the 2 Point Conversation that I do. He credits Kane for being a big influence, getting him into wrestling as well. And he's also an independent professional wrestler. and he credits Kane. He's not quite the Kane character. It's from what I could tell. I've never seen him do it or wrestle because we live in two different parts of the country. But from what I can tell, it's there. Edge, Edge in the Attitude Era. 5 second poses. Him and Christian. I got to put him in not a main event. This is when I think a lot of things we're still feeling out on Edge, as weird as that sounds. Jeff Hardy. Yeah, because the Hardy Boys were like a reason to watch. I got to put him higher than Edge because I think we were still kind of seeing what Edge was before the Rated R Superstar. So we're just kind of figuring it out. China, R.I.P. I'm gonna put a not a main event. Very good. I think it could have been longer if that whole Triple H Stephanie McMahon thing could have gone on, but that's it. The Legion of Doom. This pains me to do this. The Legion of Doom during this point was just straight, I think, trash with the storyline with Hawk and everything else. Just get out. It pains me because I think they're the greatest tag team like ever. But during this point, it just got stupid. Val Venus, not a main event. I think everybody talked about Val Venus, and just loved the whole "hello, ladies." Very quotable person. Marlena, just about bearable. The Godfather. Where do you put him in the best, or do you look at this and go, But he is probably one of the most memorable ones, even though I'm kind of going with wrestling how they did also. I don't have to remember too many matches with the Godfather where I'm like, that's a good one. You just remember the Ho Train. So that's it. Vince McMahon at this point, he's the best. He's at his best work. Kind of blew my mind. I wasn't quite sure that he owned the company because, like I said, I watched it through the golden ages. Vince McMahon was just the announcer. Jack Tunney was the president. So that's how it goes from there. The APA, I think they're the best because they could do it all. Absolutely amazing. The whole Acolyte Protection Agency, everything about it was just great. Gangrel, I would say not a main eventer. Kind of like the Godfather. Don't remember too many great Gangrel matches, but you remember the entrance and everything else. The Undertaker is still the best at this point. British Bulldog, R.I.P. Comes back wearing jeans. It didn't seem right. I know he messed up his back because the whole Ultimate Warrior thing. I hate to do it. I'm doing it to some really good RIP guys that if it was any other era, I'd put him higher, but he's kind of getting in the bin. Shawn Michaels. The D-Generation X thing, yeah. Okay, he's in the best. S.A. Rios. I kind of liked him. He's all right. He's all right there. Ahmed Johnson. Just a big physique guy. That's all I can think of. Get in the bin. The King Jerry Lawler. The best. He's one of the best announcers ever. Definitely got to put him there. Now Test, R.I.P. I really like Test. But I got to put him in the I. Just in the all right one. That's, like I said, he was cool, but I don't remember too many great Test promos or Test matches. Hardcore Holly, not a main eventer. I think the Hardcore Holly character was absolutely great, and that was it. That really was great that he could come up, have that gimmick, and go with it. Christian, if this was today, I'd put him in the best, but in this, yeah, all right. R.I.P. Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Not quite your era, buddy. Get in the bin. Deborah Michaels. I know a lot of people are going to be pissed off by this one because of the whole puppies thing, but get in the bin. Owen Hart in the Attitude Era. I could not appreciate him then, but I appreciate him now. And I think I got to put him in the best. R.I.P. Enough is enough. He still worked the angle very well with him and, Test and everything else. Or not him and Test, but him kind of still battling, in his brother's shadow. I got to go that way. D'Lo Brown. I think he was great. Not a main eventer, but great. The return of the 1-2-3 kid, X-Pac, 6, whatever you want to call him. He's all right. Nothing spectacular in my book. Nothing. Paul Bearer, the best. Probably one of the best managers ever. Ever. Just to do it. Vader at this point. Love Vader in WCW. The Mastodon. Big Van Vader. It's Vader time. But get in the bin. I remember watching the Inferno match and thinking to myself, oh, and he comes out not too great. Chris Jericho. Now I'm going to be very biased because he is my favorite wrestler of all time. Kind of the only reason why I watch AEW. I still say he's the best. And he'll tell you he's the best. He's the best in the world at what he does. The Road Dogg, Jesse James. Oh, you didn't know? I got to put him in main event. Not the best wrestler, but amazing on the microphone. And that's where I got to put him. Lita, the best. I prefer Lita over Trish Stratus any day of the week. So that's where I'm going to go that route. Jacqueline, I'm going to say not a main event. Not a main event. Not too bad. Tori, just about bearable. Nothing too wonderful. Nothing too great. It's just okay. Big Show, he was cool. Not a main eventer, though. That's where I got to put him. I don't know. He just seemed like he was there and getting a push because he was a big guy. That seems like he always was. Al Snow, like I said, he's in there too. Not a main eventer, but still awesome. Something, what does everybody want? Still great. Dean Malenko at this point, if this was WCW, he'd be in the best. I just don't feel like they used them right. I can't remember too much. I got to put him in just bearable. They gave him that stupid James Bond thing. Gimmick. There we go. Gimmick is the word. Viscera, Big Daddy V, just bearable. Eddie Guerrero at this point, I think he's still trying to feel stuff out. I could almost put him in non-main event because the thing with China was really good, but you know what, I am. Because as I ended watching it, it started getting there. Linda McMahon, get in the bin. Kurt Angle. I did not appreciate Kurt Angle enough at this point. Not like I appreciate Kurt Angle now. I think as you get older, you just start to appreciate things more. At this point, I'm going to put him not main event. He's still kind of cool, but I think he's more ruthless aggression era type stuff. Mark Henry, the whole sexual chocolate thing, yeah, all right. Triple H is at his best, I feel, at this point as well. Steve Blackman, I thought he was pretty cool. I thought he was all right. The Lethal Weapon Steve Blackman, not bad at all. Not too shabby. Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe, I gotta say they were the best. The Stooges, you knew it was gonna be a good time when the Stooges came out, and everything else, just doing their thing. Good old JR. Definitely the best. Definitely. Well, he's one of the greatest announcers ever. Still great reason to watch AEW. And Crash Holly. I gotta put Crash at main event. When he did that whole super heavyweight thing and he come out with the scale to show that he was like over 600 pounds and he said he was over like what 600 pounds. That still makes me laugh to this day thinking about it. Even though my kids are like, I think this is kind of stupid, but I think it's awesome. Matt Hardy, not a main eventer. If this was today, I put him in the best. If this was today, he would be at the top of the list. Love the whole broken Matt Hardy thing. Still love what he does today. And unfortunately, back then, it wasn't like charisma, it was all his brother Jeff. Perry Saturn. The whole Moppy thing was cool, but he's kind of like Dean Malenko. I don't think they used him properly. And I know he got into trouble for something with the whole Moppy because that's why he had to do Moppy. But I got to put him in just bearable. Right to censor. I kind of like them. They're all right. They were cool. They were cool for the time that it was. You know, things were changing. WWF at the time, a lot of people were like, can't let kids watch this. We got to censor this. We got to do that. And they came along and they did their thing. Rikishi. I'm going to put him in not main event and say kind of like same thing with Too Cool because they were pretty over like Rover. So I'm going to put them in the not main events. Were they the best? Like, I think when you look at the top part, these are like the best parts, almost like the best parts of the Attitude Era. Here, it's the non-main event is just about right underneath the best parts, but right to censor is all right. Trish Stratus, we got to put her in the best, even though I'm Team Lita over Trish. Who do we got next? Howard Finkel. There we go. And going over, we all know Howard Finkel. He's the ring announcer. He's amazing. I don't care what people say about Michael Buffer. I'd rather listen to Howard Finkel announce the next wrestling match than Michael Buffer. Michael Buffer can just stick to doing boxing. But back to Lita Trish Stratus thing real quick. At this point, Trish was just learning how to wrestle, and Lita was a really good wrestler. I thought was a really good wrestler with moonsaults and stuff like that and doing everything. So that's why I kind of was like on the side with Lita than I was more with Trish. Kai and Ty. Where do we put Kai and Ty? I'm going to put them in. They're all right. They had some questionable moments, but they're all right. And the last one, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Get in the bin. Just joking. He goes right to the best. We can't. This was the Attitude Era. He embodied the Attitude Era. He is probably, and I know The Rock is bigger, kind of now more mainstream than him, but I feel next to Hulk Hogan, as mainstream as it could be, Stone Cold Steve Austin is right there with Hulk Hogan. That's how influential and great he is. So, quick recap before I end this episode. We have the best. These are like the best parts. The Dudley Boys, The Rock, Mankind, Kane, Jeff Hardy, Vince McMahon, the APA, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Jerry the King Lawler, Owen Hart, Paul Bearer, Chris Jericho, Lita, Triple H, Jerry Briscoe and Pat Patterson, Jim Ross, Trish Stratus, Howard Finkel, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not main eventers. These are guys just below it. Ken Shamrock, Edge, China, Val Venus, The Godfather, Gangrel, Hardcore Holly, D'Lo Brown, The Road Dogg, Jesse James, Jacqueline, The Big Show, Al Snow, Eddie Guerrero, Crash Holly, Kurt Angle, Matt Hardy, Rakishi, Too Cool. These are like they're all right. They're not the best, but they're still kind of fun to watch. Shane O'Macko or Shane McMahon, the Big Boss Man, S.A. Rios, Test, Christian, X Pac, Mark Henry, the Lethal Weapon Steve Blackman, Right to Censor, Kai and Tai. Just about bearable. I think that explains itself. Bret the Hitman Hart, Goldust, Marlena, Tori, Dean Malenko, Viscera, and Perry Saturn. Get in the bin. Stephanie McMahon, Albert. Oh, I don't even want to say this. The next two or so. The Legion of Doom, the British Bulldog. I feel so horrible. Ahmed Johnson. Here's another one. Jim the Anvil Neihart. Deborah Michaels. Vader I feel bad for. And Linda McMahon. But I feel like it had to be in... I had to center around the Attitude Era. Because this is an Attitude Era centric ranking. So that's where I had to put them. So with that being said, thank you for listening. If you're on YouTube, thanks for watching. You can catch new episodes of Let's Talk But No Politics, okay, every Sunday on the network. That's bicbp-radio.com. Also, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible. You can catch the episode pretty much anywhere. Go check that out. Go check out the Facebook page, doing tournaments, fun content there as well. Please go check that out. Also on Instagram, but not all the fun content goes on to Instagram, so you make sure you check out that Facebook. And I should be starting back up my Let's Plays pretty soon, as well as my kids are going to start going to school, so that can help free up some time to do things as well. And so please go check out the YouTube channel if you're already on. If you're watching this video, there's more like it. Please go check that out. Please check out the Golden Age or 80s wrestlers of WWF video. Also doing a lot of tiering movies and everything like that. Movie trivia. So please go check all that out. And remember to catch these bonus episodes every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Helium Radio Network. And with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, and